that a MacBook?
What is this? I don't know. It's like some Dell. I think it's Dell.
It looks like exactly like MacBook. Oh, it has.
I covered the sign.
Nice.
How are you doing?
Good.
Lizzy.
How are you? Do I
great.
break the fourth wall, or do I just?
You can break all the walls,
okay.
man. The walls don't exist in our existence.
Sure.
I think the least amount of walls possible, the better the connection between us and the viewers, you know? Because the viewer wants to know who you are. Shit, I want to know who you are. Who are you?
I guess we'll get to it. My name is Lizzy.
Okay.
I'm 24. Originally from
This is a
San
dating
Diego.
profile, like, you know, this is her Tinder bio.
Oh, I'm going off to way too formal with it.
She's like, yes, I
like
like long walks on the beach.
Yeah.
24. I do occasionally read from time to time. Where are we?
Occasionally.
Where are we at?
We're at Reed.
Fuck yeah, like, it's lit. Oh.
Pull back. Yeah, we are at Reed College.
We're at Reed College. We're in the library. We can't make too much noise.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. What are you afraid of?
Being alone, probably.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you feel when you're alone?
Low-key, like, I like it, like, but I like it because I feel like it's, like, gonna be super temporary. That's kind of the reason why I like it.
So you only like being alone because you know it's not forever?
Kind of, yeah.
What about when you die? Have you ever thought about when you die and how that's gonna feel being that type of alone?
Honestly, every day.
Oh, shit. So what feelings do you get when you think about dying?
A little bit of relief. A little bit of, like, kind of dread for the people that I love. But
What do you mean?
like most things, like, honestly, most of my fears come back to, like, being a burden or, like, being, like, causing the people I love pain. Like, that's mostly, like, what it will come back to every time, you know? I could be being set on fire also, like, scares me a good amount.
Yeah.
But, like, all the other stuff, like being eaten by an animal, drowning, all those, like, snakes, all that kind of stuff, I don't really care about very much, you know? I'm sure it would be scary, but
You dying, how would that bring the people you care about pain?
because I feel like I kind of, like, carry a solid amount of, like, maybe this is just me thinking that, like, I don't know, I do a lot, but I feel like I carry a solid amount of, like, the weight around, you know? And I would, like, hate for, like, to just be gone all of a sudden and, like, them feel, like, the full weight of that, plus having to go through me being gone.
Right.
Grief, you know?
Do you ever, like, do mock trials of your family carrying the weight? Like, for me,
In my head?
Like, for me, I left. I went to the West Coast. So
Yeah.
the weight that I did carry has to be carried by my family now.
Was that partially because of that you moved?
Yes, absolutely. I think the reason I moved is to disperse the weight evenly and to disperse the weight unevenly. Because I'm like, I want to fucking learn who I am. So let me go far away so that no weight can be put on me. It was a very selfish move.
You didn't even, like, try to, like, reach out and, like, call and check in?
I mean,
like,
I call and check in all the time.
Try to carry it a little bit. Yeah.
I carry the psychological weight, and you know, if me and my mom travel outside the country together all the time.
I've seen that.
So every year we go outside the country. So that's our
every
time.
year you guys do that?
Thus far.
That's
It's
cool.
been a
That's
couple
pretty
of
cool.
years. It's like we're like 3-4 years in right now.
It's just you and her, or any of your other siblings?
Some of my family will come. My sister hasn't got her passport yet. She needs to get her passport, but
She's late to the game.
But if she gets her passport, then she can kick it with us too, for sure. So that's a lot of pressure. You're 24 and you carry the pressure of your whole family.
I could, like, it's possible to, like, no, it's very, like, actual that I'm, like, being dramatic about it to a certain degree, but just, like, keep in mind I'm the third child in a group of 4, and, like, I'm one of the younger of all my cousins. I have so many aunts and uncles. I have, you know what I mean, more than enough grandmas, like, one living grandpa now. Just a lot of people in my life, and I still feel like a lot of it is, like, still, you know what I mean, still, like, up in the air of, like, who's gonna take it, you know?
Right. Who do you think? Well, so let's say you die. Who's gonna take all of the weight after you?
My oldest brother or my mom, in combination with my youngest brother.
Do you feel confident in their abilities to carry the weight?
I feel very confident in them. I just, like, don't want them. I kind of like that they, like, I don't know, get to kind of like depend on me for some things right now. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. You got that. You're important. You're valued. Is that?
I think so.
Yeah. Is that how you feel comfortable in this existence, having that responsibility?
Interesting. You bring this up.
You thought I was just gonna ask you some bullshit, huh? Bow.
Listen, okay, your bitch goes to therapy. So
hell yeah.
We go through some of these like very topics like pretty regularly. Yes, I find a lot of my personal value in my role in other people's lives, 100%. And I also have an issue because I don't really think that's like super wrong.
I don't think it's wrong either.
Yeah, I think like when it comes to like my own life, like quality of life, it could get in the way. But
how have you seen it get in the way of your quality of life thus far?
Not a crazy amount. Probably like a good amount. You know how like we kind of have like our dark humor. I kind of like
I
the
live in dark
self-loathing.
humor.
Yes,
I
know.
am dark humor.
Yeah, like the self-loathing a little bit, like that kind of like existential dread stuff.
Absolutely.
Most of that is like me like thinking that like, you know, I don't know. What were we just talking about? most of that is me like is like the negative stuff that like I think about from like what I would mean without them, kind of a thing, you know.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. Like,
no, we're working.
Okay,
we're slowly
yeah.
getting to where we need to be.
I have like a large amount of my personal value in the people that I love.
Exactly. Okay, and you carry a lot of the burden. And you carry a significant amount to where you feel people would be affected if you died.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So with that, how does that pressure affect your life as you currently live? Like, how does that affect your life? Like being the person who has these certain roles for the family, how does that change the way that you live life today?
It changes my timeline.
Okay.
I was hoping, and I previously was on my own in my like early adulthood, like pretty young, and then returned kind of like for the safety of my family.
Like you were living on your own?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then return for the sole purpose of your family?
No, not the sole purpose, no.
But like a majority?
But it ended up being, like, I was supposed to leave a little bit sooner than I did. And it all ended up being, like, a whole situation. But, anyways, yeah, like, I am still, right now, kind of, like, a little bit holding out on some of the things that, like, I plan to do. Because I would like to feel confident in, like, where my family is. And, like, not have to, like, kind of think about them when I'm doing my own thing, because it really does distract me. Like, there's no point in me truthfully going and doing my thing if I'm going to be like thinking about them and trying to like figure out their life and make sure that they're going to be okay. There's no point in me going and doing that if I'm going to be focused on them the whole time.
If you're going to be there mentally, then you might as well be there physically.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I mean, that's what I lived with, honestly, up until about 24, because I always used to think like, damn, I'm living for my family. Like, I used to stay up at night, like have nightmares, just have these intrusive thoughts of my family and like, how can they be happy? How can I make them happy? How can my existence benefit their life to a point where it makes them happy?
Exactly.
And it's like I had to stop thinking like that, but that took so many thoughts. You know how many hours of thoughts took me to get to that.
You're a psychology major too, so
yeah,
like you've had like even more so like
I wouldn't say whatever, you know, whether you're
like,
a major,
least, like,
you're intuitively, you're intuitively a healer. So I think a healer is healer, whether you go to school and read these stupid books or not. You're a healer.
For sure, I agree. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So for me, I just think like that's what kept me up at night. And so it took me having to move and like really kind of separate my whole being to kind of learn like, oh, okay, I have my own life.
Yeah.
How can I make myself happy?
Yeah.
And in making myself happy, that's gonna make them happy.
That's a great point, actually. Yeah, because that's kind of like what the path my oldest brother took, and I feel like out of all of us, he's like finding himself the most and like doing the most of like what he wants to do. You know. So I think that that's a very good point that you make, like of like just distancing yourself, you know,
right.
from all of it.
What do you see for yourself in 5 years? In 5 years, where do you see yourself?
I see a degree.
Okay.
I see a place of my own, living by myself.
Okay.
I see probably moved a fair amount away, or back in, like, truthfully back in California, or to a place that I've never been. That's like the two options I realistically see for myself. And solid with friends that I'm with now, because I like have the utmost love and like, you know, trust in them. And that for the most part. I think that I'll most likely still be single. I think that I'll still be traveling and reading a lot, doing some of the stuff that I do now, but probably just more secure in the place that I am, probably a much better job, and like probably getting to a point where like I'm thinking about like adding either another pet or like making the next stage in my life, whether that be adoption or whatever I choose to be the next stage of my life. You know?
Yeah. What makes you feel like you're gonna still be single in 5 years? Like, what made you even say that? You know, what brought that to you? Like, why do you feel so confident that you would be single in 5 years?
It's a great question. I think it's like kind of a two-parter. I think.
Give me all the parts. This is free.
Like, first and foremost, my cynicism. You know what I mean? Like,
in what way? Like, explain that.
Like my lack of belief or my lack of faith in humanity and my, you know what I mean, and like the ability for someone to match me equally enough for me to do things out of my personal preference for, if that makes any sense, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm so accustomed to doing things the way that I want to do them, you know, and like not kind of like, for sure sacrificing for family, but also like having the like loyalty for people that like I don't think that I will have for someone that I choose to be in my life. It's kind of like, you know, a complicated part. The other part of it is my conviction. My like deep down, I do almost everything because of a strange gut spiritual feeling that I have, not because I feel like it's a gray or like a black and white situation or like a right and wrong. Mostly because like I feel like this is the right thing for my trajectory, this isn't the right thing, or just something is telling me I feel like that feels not good right now, even though it seems like the best situation and all the logistical aspects and, you know, things that would like other people would qualify for like, okay, this is the good decision to make. I will just feel some sort of weird feeling about it, and I'm like, bye. No, cool, yeah, like I'm good.
Shit.
And so far it has steered me to a place that I'm happy. So
okay. So do you feel like you're doing enough for your family to where you don't want to make your relationship alter the way you act as well?
Yeah, that's also a big part, I think. It's like, it's really hard for me to put, I don't know, yeah. Relationships are a lot of work. They take a lot of you. Like, I wouldn't be able to give the same to my family if I was in a relationship. That's a good point, actually.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
what about you?
What do I see in 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
5 years, I see a PhD. If I work really hard, a PhD, or like right about to get a PhD.
Okay.
Comedy's exponentially, significantly better than it is right now.
Still very good right now.
Right, it is pretty good right now. As far as me learning and accepting who I am as a person and loving everything that comes with who I am, that just continues to increase. So in 5 years, like I continue to keep the trajectory that I feel I'm on right now. I'm gonna just love myself more. I'm gonna be more comfortable being in my space, in my sin.
Period.
So yeah, I can't speak on the relationship piece because I don't know. I don't go into every connection with a person with that as the underbelly. Like, it's just, I'm here to understand every single person I meet, and then over time I'm like, oh well, I think we could do this. It's kind of like that. It kind of just like catches me like that.
Yeah, but in like the aspect of where you see yourself. Like,
well, yeah,
is there a vision that you see for?
Well, yeah, I see myself finishing school finally, moving along in the comedy space. I think I would have a home by then. I may or may not be in Oregon still. I might be in California or Florida, one of those places, maybe Texas, but I don't think so. It's like the third. That's like the third base.
Yeah.
I think I'd be much more in tune with who I am as a person, and
even more so than now.
Oh yeah, I think every day I get better because I keep learning new things. Like I learned about myself 2 days ago that I project on the people that humor is a therapeutic remedy. I realize that about myself. So like when someone's telling me their feelings, they could be very vulnerable. I might crack a joke in that moment because I know what jokes do for me, but the joke might do something different for you.
True.
But I bring it no matter what because I'm projecting that I think the joke's going to do something good for you. And so I realized that about myself 2 days ago. So it's like there's so many things that I don't know about myself that like I'm still learning to this day.
It's a very good point, yeah.
For sure.
Like you learn stuff like every day, or like the self-awareness. You're never like fully self-aware. Like there's always something. There's always...
Right. There's always something. Even when you think you got it, it's like, well, knock, knock. Who's there? More self-awareness.
Yeah, every time you think you got it right, like
that's why I'm just be chilling now because I don't got it right. Like, just give me more, man. Keep giving me more. Yeah. So, how do you feel about self-awareness? Where do you think that you are on the self-awareness path? Like, do you see yourself learning a lot more about yourself as well?
Yeah, okay. That's like a funny point from earlier. Is like, truthfully, you can never be fully self-aware. There will always be something, like, as frustrating as that is, but I will say that I'm a pretty self-critical person, you know, to my core. Like we were talking about earlier, like part of the reason like I really can care less about opinions and things people say is because they're not going to be meaner than I am to myself, you know. But that being said, like still not very self-aware, still constantly do things where like even like a week later look back and be like either cringe or like let's cut that little thing that you do out, like let's not do that anymore.
Is your criticalness towards yourself, do you see that as a positive thing or a negative thing?
Positive.
Okay. Has it ever how is it positive for you?
I think it keeps me polite, respectful, it keeps me humble, and always the biggest part, always educating myself, because like I realize constantly how little that I know about everything. Okay. Good. Have you ever seen it where it didn't do positive things for you? Like where being critical about yourself like didn't help the journey? For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what ways did it not help as well?
Well, I have an interesting story, actually.
I love interesting stories.
Growing up, I grew up Christian. And in my earlier years, it was a very strict Christian. It was very like, no cussing, like stupid was a bad word. You know what I mean?
Wow. Same.
Yeah. Like no going out past like a certain time, like no sugars, no soda, or like no like candy and stuff like that. Even though I did have a grandpa and uncles and stuff that you for sure. But it was very like Christian every Sunday church, you know, and all that kind of stuff. Like you don't like tell people any of your business. You just keep it very polite, keep it very, you know, hey, how's your family at church, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Sing the church songs, don't lie, all that good stuff. And then as I got older, I was like starting to enter teens, and that part went away. But there was one time, and I used to pray. One of the things too is you like pray every day, kind of a thing, right? So my time to pray was before I went to bed, because it was like one of the more classic times, right? And I like one of my favorite times of the day is daydreaming before I go to sleep. So I would pray and then I would daydream, and it was like my whole like little routine as a kid that would make me feel good and like safe. So when I was like 9 or 10, I like started getting like this way too strong conviction of like the right and the wrong decisions under what God thinks that I should do. So there was this day that I was like 10 years old, and I was like, it was a morning before I had to go to school, and all I had to do was like walk up. We had this cupboard in our dining room, because my mom like she really liked to decorate and like reorganize things, so it was like always like moving around a little bit. But there's this cupboard for like this little short amount of time like in our dining room that had all the dishware in it. So I like walked over to the dining room and I like opened up the cupboard to pick out a glass so I could get some water for the morning. It was like my first drink of water. And I remember sitting in front of, and I had just woken up too, so that could be part of it, but I was sitting in front of this cupboard looking at all the glasses, thinking like, this is an important decision because like I need God to help me with this decision. This is weird talking about it, but I also talked to this about my therapist too. But yeah, it was just like a moment where it took me 5 minutes to choose what cup to drink water out of, and my mom was watching me the whole time and said something to me after it. I don't remember what she said, but it just made me like think like, I feel like I'm wasting my time, and I don't feel like there was ever a wrong decision. Like even my 10-year-old brain, like after doing that, was like, I feel like I just like did something really weird and dumb, and like that was not necessary. So I started to kind of question my beliefs after that moment, and then shortly after there, and I was like, when I was 14, I stopped praying every day, and then that was kind of like, yeah, my switch up.
So was it that specific instance that convinced you to not pray every day, or was there like a additional thought that was like, okay, I'm not gonna pray every day because praying means that I think about things in too much depth, and I'm not able to like live in the moment. Like, when did you make that connection along with that thought?